Okay, so I got myself a controls call today. We're dealing with the single zone stat and actuator. And what I'm doing, I'm getting 24 volts coming off a transformer somewhere in the building. It's being wired in parallel with the stat and my Baleno actuator. This actuator takes three wires. One's going to be a ground, one's going to be an AC volt, 24 volt. And I've got a 0 to 10 DC volt signal that's coming from the thermostat. So what I found out is that my power wire was loose going to my actuator. So I've got that on there, and I'll just check the stat and make sure I've got the signal that I need to. I'm going to call for cooling. These can be set up to operate either reverse or direct action based on what you want 10 volts to be. If you want to close up at 10 volts, if you want to power open on 10 volts. So that's how that works. Let me just check the stat, make sure we're okay. Recorded the rest of the way. I started talking to the building super, and well, I couldn't film, so I'll explain what had happened toward the conclusion of the call. Started at the actuator. The R was missing, the 24 volt power terminal. It was just off, loose. I got that situated. Then I went to my thermostat. It was calling for cool. On a call for cool, it'll send 10 volts DC to the actuator. The actuator opens up clockwise, and you get your airflow. When there isn't a call, it goes to 0 volts DC, and it goes the opposite way, counterclockwise, and closes. So I was actually getting more than 10 volts. I was getting 13 volts, and the actuator wasn't doing anything. So thermostat I determined was bad, just because it was way out of range of the DC voltage that it needed to have been sending. And then I figured out, once I got this thermostat situated, I was getting my proper voltage, 9.9 volts DC. The actuator wasn't responding, and the reason for that is probably might have shorted the contact on the 0 to 10 volt DC. Being that it was over range, we probably shorted our coil on that terminal. So went ahead and replaced both thermostat and the actuator, and now we're up and running. So real easy to work on. All I need for my transformer is R and C wired in parallel between the T-stat and the actuator, and then I've got a single line, an analog line between the thermostat and the actuator, 0 to 10. Depending how you set that up, if it's set up for direct acting, when you hit 10 volts, you're opening. When you hit 0, or you go back to 0, you're closed. If you set it up for reverse acting, when you get a signal for 10 volts, it's going to be closing, and when you go to 0, it's going to open back up. So just keep in mind whether or not your system's set up for direct acting or reverse acting. It's going to be really important. Depending on that, it's going to modulate the air open or close. So just be mindful of that. And that's it for this call.